what's behind passive aggressive emails and hopefully passive aggressive messages over Slack too.
Yeah, actually, so this is another study. This was done by Preply. Preply is a language tutoring company. They actually do like face-to-face kind of, like those companies that do video therapy. It's kind of like that, but for language. But they do it in business context as well. So they did this study. I mean, it's a little bit of a PR thing, um, but they released this study and I went back and I always look at the methodology because I want to make sure that these studies are legit.
You have to, and I used to have a joke that said the only research I believe is done by my own company, but
Right.
that's more of a joke than anything else. That is the smart thing to do.
Yeah. So the one thing, so they, this is all Americans. They pulled 1,000 people aged 18 to 76, about half and half female, male. Um, One thing that they did not do, and I really wish that they had done, was segment this between remote and in-person workers.
Yeah.
Because what I think is happening here is that there has to be one of the statistics that they had was that the the passive aggressive emails were happening in instances where when the person saw the other person face to face, that aggression wasn't there. So it's a lack of communication. And I think that some of this is caused by not seeing people. And I think sometimes it's just a matter of picking up a phone. It's communication skills. It's just, different styles. Really like quick but funny story. In my last job as a CMO, I worked really closely with the product team and, a bunch of engineers. There I just happen to write, even in Slack and in chat, somewhat, I punctuate my sentences and I still write as if I'm writing, you know, an email or something else. Well, they thought I was very formal. And so when I got together with them in person here in Austin, we got together as a team and, we're having some drinks and we're having fun. And they were like, we had no idea you were fun. I was
Uh,
like, what? I'm like, what are you talking about? They're like, yeah, we totally thought you were super uptight. You punctuate your Slack. I was like, it's so, I mean, so your impression of somebody by their way of communication can really vary. Like, I don't write, I mean, you've probably seen this in chat. I don't write LOL. I write, that's very funny.
right. That's so funny. Oh my gosh.
So communications can really vary and somebody can get the wrong impression. And, one of the things, and I'll go back to this IBM study, if you go deeper into it, the most critical skills required of the workforce are time management skills, ability to prioritize, work effectively in team environments, and ability to communicate effectively.
It's so
So,
funny you say that. I mean, I learned that in 1990 in a training program, and what was it called? A Ben Franklin, A1, A2, B1, B2. Are you
yeah,
telling me 33 years later, we're pretty much we're these are the basics, right?
yep. And it's changed over time, but we are back to that. In 2023, we are back to the ability to communicate effectively is the number three priority for executives of most critical skills required of their workforce. So what I think is really interesting is I feel like this is a really interesting, a really great opportunity for a company like Grammarly or even, Microsoft 365 or Google Workspace to put in some widget. I mean, now we've got this AI that can identify anything, some trigger words. I mean, there's some really clear terms like per my last email
Yeah.
or, things that trigger people that feel like those are like the passive aggressive terms. I mean, Grammarly can tell you when you sound, in what, you want to sound more optimistic
Yeah.
or, whatever. So Grammarly, listen to me,
I
put in
love
some
it.
trigger words.